All right, I'm surprising everybody with no intro music. I just had to finish drying Louisa's tears here from we don't have an intro anymore because we keep getting right errors from the music not being pumped in directly. At some point, I'll figure it out. But Emily the Criminal.
Yes, that is our movie.
Or Aubrey Plaza the Criminal.
Mm-hmm.
She looks like a criminal. But I was telling you before I turned off our last take that I wanted to see this movie and I started to watch it, but it kind of bummed me out a little, so I had to stop because it was almost a little too real for me. Like real to present day issues. But take me through your process of why you picked it and break it down for us.
Why I picked it?
Yeah.
Well, I kind of always, in the back of my head, wanted to see it, and I just never watched it. And it was playing at my local movie theaters when it came out. And I thought about going to see it, and I just wasn't sure. I was on the fence. And then I noticed that it was streaming on Netflix right now, and I thought, I would like to watch that. And if it's streaming, I can watch it in the comfort of my own apartment, and I don't know, it just appealed to me. I like Aubrey Plaza, the few movies that I've seen her in, and this was, I thought, a really different departure from like
Not
her
so
comedic roles. Yeah. And so I was like, and I love to see comedic actors and actresses play serious roles and vice versa. Like, I think it's very interesting because I always wonder, like, can they do it?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, and it was intriguing. I mean, watching a preview of the movie versus watching the whole movie, it really doesn't do the movie justice, in my opinion. It didn't.
Most trailers don't.
That's true. But it just didn't look like what the movie was.
The thing that bummed me out about it was just the themes that it dealt with. They're so current. Like people who get into student debt and can't climb out of it, and the jobs that young people are taking now are, I don't want to say demeaning. They're just the pay gap between school debt and what people come out earning and what their income ceiling is it's pretty stark. And this movie put a big highlight around that. Like she had a ton of student debt and she had a felony charge, so she couldn't get anything beyond semi-menial work. Like she was working for like an Uber Eats or something like that, and just making, just barely paying the interest. And it's like she was just caught in that never-ending death spiral of debt that just keeps accumulating.
Yeah, and she could never pay any of it down because she had to pay rent.
Yeah. And, like a lot of people in Los Angeles, she lives in Los Angeles, but a lot of people who are in big cities right now, they have multiple roommates. And they're just, they're barely covering, they're, barely staying above water. And one of her coworkers turns around to like a dummy shopper. And the dummy shopper is just like, here, we're going to give you a stolen credit card without, you're going to do something illegal. You're going to take a card. You're going to go buy like a flat screen TV, and then we're going to give you, cash for it. And she's pretty good at it, and then they try to bump her up to doing something way more illegal, like buying a car. And, I would say hilarity ensues, but it's more like calamity ensues.
Yeah, definitely. Not really hilarity.
But this movie just kind of like threw in your face that like for a lot, like the American dream for young people is, I don't want to say it's dead, but it's dead to like the conventional methods of the American dream. Like they don't exist anymore. Like going to college and coming out and getting a job and then buying a house. That's like...
Yeah, no, that definitely doesn't exist.
Like just the pay to the income gap to what you pay for college is just, it's so inverted that okay, I'm so glad I'm not in college right now.
Me too. I think about that all the time. I'm glad I'm not in any kind of school. I can't imagine being a student in these times.
It's, you know, what's sad is that I talk to a lot of students at Market who, like, I remember being this way, like pie in the sky. Even when I got out of college, I got out with a finance degree, and really the only way to make really good money in finance is you had to sell securities, and that was just cold calling. It was like any other sales job. Mm-hmm. But like if you were going to make good money with a bachelor's degree, at least when I got out, you had to either be, you really had to be like an engineer. Mm-hmm. Those guys could maybe make 60 mm-hmm. at the time, but like anybody else I knew with a regular business degree, for the most part, like wages were between 30 and 45. Mm-hmm. And now that's another thing that this movie kind of throws up in your face, is that at least for a time, I don't know if they're doing this anymore, but companies are hiring, quote unquote, hiring people as interns or apprentices and having them work full shifts and not paying them
at all, nothing.
Yeah, and there's no contract, and they'll say, well, we'll see where we're at in 6 months or 3 months or whatever, and like that. And it's weird how that just kind of became the norm. They're like, because I know they do that in Hollywood all the time, or at least they did. I'm sure it still goes on. Like, you know, this is our way to verify that you really care about this industry, and that's all bullshit. That's just mm-hmm. a way to, like, it's just a way to get free labor out of you.
Yep,
all the
sure
menial tasks, and they say, no, we want to know that, you know, you're up to snuff and that you care about what you're doing. I'm like, how in any way is that? It's so nuts, because it's like you're asking someone to give up months of their life for no pay, and they still have bills. Mm-hmm. Yep. With no contract and no guarantee at the end of that. And what's to stop any employer from being like, yeah, it didn't work out, F you, fucking get out of here, and then just doing it all over to somebody else.
Yeah. And in the beginning, when you first sit down to talk with someone, whether or not it's going to go anywhere, they always make it sound like, we'll hire you after you put in this time and effort and everything for the same job or better, and we'll pay you. Why? It's not a guarantee. And really, it sounds like, well, it's not a guarantee.
It's not. It's like the normal way of doing things used to be, okay, here's a job description, and then you would negotiate the thing, like your rate, and now it's like, this is what we're offering. Take it or leave it.
Yep, take it or leave it.
Or it's so. I remember having conversations with my dad, like, it's all negotiable. I'm like, you may say that, but
it's really not.
There's a lot of jobs out there where you're like, all right, look, I don't. There's plenty of salespeople who would argue this. Just be like, you know, stick to your guns when they say, look, we're going to pay you $50,000 and that's it, and then walk out. But like, depending on what year we're talking about, like right now, there's a labor inversion, mm-hmm. and it's hard to get good people. So if they're out there, it's more in the employees' hands. They can control what they, more to some degree, what they're going to get paid. But mm-hmm. before the labor shortage, it wasn't like that at all. Like mm-hmm. like when this movie came out, not at all. Yeah, being a young person getting out in the workforce right now, I just
it's so scary,
especially with recession and all that stuff looming. I want no part of it. We're off on a tangent here, though. I mean, was it in the theater or did it just get Netflix release?
It was in the theater.
Okay, so like the broad strokes, she hooks up with the guy who sets her up with the credit card scam. correct?
Yep.
And that guy is played by Theo Rossi, who some people may recognize from Sons of Anarchy. He played Juice. And this is always a funny podcast, and I don't want to give away too much, but I think it becomes pretty clear to Emily that she's kind of got to step up her game a little bit, at least to make more money. She can't keep just selling TVs, and I think she learns pretty quickly how risky what she's doing is.
Yep, very quick.
Yeah, with regards to safety and dealing in stolen goods on the street. I got to tell you, I don't think I'd last 30 seconds doing something like this.
No, and I think, well, I can't spoil the movie, so I won't say the rest.
Well, don't leave the listeners hanging. Say something. I'm just trying to picture little Louisa in a leather jacket selling, flat screen plasmas out of an Escalade with, black sunglasses.
In negotiating high amounts of dollars.
Yeah. And only dealing in $100 bills.
Yep, I don't see that.
Oh, God, that would make great television.
You think so?
I do.
I don't know that anyone would want to watch that, but okay, thank you.
Who's the other baddie here is Yusuf is Theo Rossi. And was it his cousin that was the other part of that?
Yeah, his cousin.
Yeah, well, at least that's how they portray it. But I guess to say they have a falling out towards the end would be putting it a bit mildly. And again, don't want to give away the ending, but I will say that her progression as what her career ends up being is pretty full circle. She does art, she's an illustrator and she's an artist, and where she ends up, she's still doing that, but there's a point in the movie where she meets Yusuf's mother, and mom is trying to determine, is she Emily the artist or Emily the carpenter, and that's where it stops, and you're left to fill in the blank of, she's Emily the criminal, and she brings that around pretty full circle by the end of the movie. So for any of you out there wondering if I was going to get involved in credit card fraud, let me allay those fears right now.
You're not?
No, I'm not, because I'm way too attached to my face. Just trying to see here. Made the short list at the 84th Academy Awards.
Oh.
I bet you didn't know that.
I did not.
It was John Patton Ford's first feature. His thesis film at the American Film Institute Patrol premiered at the 2010 Sundance Film Festival and made the shortlist at the 84. Okay, I'm sorry, Patrol did. This one didn't. My mistake. In writing Emily the Criminal, Ford drew from his own experiences with student debt and working in restaurants. After Plaza read the script, she came on board as producer in addition to agreeing to star in the film. As far as themes go, I can't stress it enough. I've been in debt before, and it sucks. It's the absolute worst, and it can push people to make silly decisions. So I don't know who this, if anyone, it's going to resonate with, but don't make any kind of major purchasing, any financial decision when you're swimming in debt. Are you there? Are you falling asleep?
Yeah, I'm here.
What else haven't we covered? Oh, my recipe.
I'm just reading information about the movie that I didn't read before.
We gotta get you to start reading this stuff before I hit the record button.
That's probably true.
You know what they say about dead air? It's a killer.
Sorry.
Come on. All right, honey vanilla pâtes de crème. I have never heard of this dessert before, but I'm going to describe it kind of like a creme brulee. What were those dishes called?
Ramekins.
Ramekins. You're going to need some for this, at least if you want to follow the recipe to the letter. 3 1/4 cup of heavy cream, 1/2 cup of whole milk, 1/4 cup of mild flavored honey. You can use a flavored one, I'm sure, or just like a standard clover and wildflower. A pinch of fine sea salt, 3 egg yolks, 1/2 vanilla bean, seeds scraped out. Directions. I don't think this one's too long, but stick with me. Preheat to 300. Place a wet paper towel or a cloth mat in the bottom of the baking dish. This will prevent the ramekins from sliding around. You're going to arrange, make sure they're oven safe, of course, your ramekins on the top, leaving an inch of space between each one. You don't want them to touch and transfer heat. Saucepan or in a spouted kettle, bring 3 cups of water to a simmer. You'll need this later for a water bath. You're going to combine the cream, honey, milk, and salt in a medium saucepan over medium-low heat until the honey is dissolved and the mixture starts to steam. Then, in a bowl, you're going to whisk the egg yolks for 30 seconds until they're lightened. Slowly ladle warm cream, about 1/4 cup at a time, into the yolks, whisking constantly until half of the cream has been incorporated into the mixture and is warm to the touch. Then whisk in the remaining cream and vanilla. It sounds a little complicated. Just stick with it because that and this are the most technical components. You're going to divide the custard among the ramekins. Just pour hot water into the pan around the ramekins until the water comes about halfway up the sides. Very carefully place the baking pan in the oven and make sure not to splash water into the custard. That's going to ruin your final product. You may also find it easier to place the baking pan on an extended oven rack. Just pull that out, put it on there, then slide it in. Then pour the water into the pan and slide it back into the oven. You're going to bake for 40 to 50 minutes, more or less depending on the size or the depth of the ramekin. And then check it after 40 minutes or until the edges are firm and the centers are still just a little bit jiggly. Remove the oven pan from the oven and let it cool completely to room temperature. And remove the ramekins from the baking pan and lightly cover it with plastic wrap and chill until you're ready to eat it. You're going to want to put it in the refrigerator for 2 to 3 hours and just eat at room temperature. And trust me, I haven't eaten these things before, but I've had my fair share of custards, and these look delicious. That's it for the recipe. What do we got for Blacklist? You're picking up the ball and running with it today, Louisa.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. What was my movie? It was my pick, and I don't even remember.
I know it started with an S.
Sharper. By Brian Gatwood and Alessandro Tanaka. I think I picked this from the 2020 list, and one thing we always have to call out, you guys know how Hollywood is. They may change the name and make this movie with some adaptations or adjustments. We don't know if they've changed the name. This is just what was on the 2020 blacklist. So got 17 mentions. You want to give them the breakdown?
Yeah, what it's about?
Yeah.
Okay. A chain of scam artists go after one wealthy family with the perfect plan to drain them of their funds. But when love, heartbreak, and jealousy slither their way into the grand scheme, it becomes unclear whether the criminals are conning or the ones being conned. That's the synopsis.
So here's how we laid it out. I did a band of, and I don't know how. I assumed it was going to be a larger cast. I'm envisioning something along the lines of Knives Out.
Okay. Like an ensemble cast.
Yeah, kind of. So for the criminals, I said there was going to be 3, 1 primary and 2 subordinate. And then just to keep it simple, the family would be the father, mother, and a son and a daughter.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So you want to just trade off with each character?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So for the criminal, he's played the someone who was taken advantage of by a criminal before. Your boy, Bradley Cooper.
You did not.
You didn't pick him, did you?
He was in the running.
Oh, okay. Who'd you pick?
That's so hilarious. I love Bradley Cooper, in case people didn't know.
You're female. Of course you love him.
There's a whole list.
I know there is. But for this list, who'd you pick? Go on.
My boy.
Which one?
Adam Driver.
Oh, God, of course you did. He was Kylo Ren, so.
I think he does really good in in the roles that he's played in that I've watched.
Yeah, he
would be a good criminal, and also
he's in Ferrari. He's going to be Enzo Ferrari, who's both a protagonist but also kind of a dick.
And I also think that he would be good and also I think Bradley Cooper would be good because it said that in this movie they could be the criminals or they could be the ones being conned, so it's hard to know who. I feel like they would just be good.
Or some combination of the two of them. In the cast.
Good call.
Who'd you go for? Well, for subordinate number 1, Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Okay.
Because he's just he's younger. He's still, it's hard because, I remember a lot of his roles being a young man. Mm-hmm. And he's still a young man, but I'd like to think he's, at least 5 years younger than the primary.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And he's not that he's been the lead in movies before, but he's not leading man. He's not like
that's
George
true.
Clooney. He's not, he's not Brad Pitt. He's not Adam Driver for that matter, or Bradley Cooper.
Mm-hmm.
Who'd you have?
My first subordinate, I love that word, is Topher Grace.
Yeah, so we're all in the same.
Yeah, it's really funny.
Yeah, because he if whatever he's done recently, it has. I think it's the thing. Whenever he does, who am I thinking of? Who was the first Spider-Man?
Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, so all of those guys. That's the 2020 Rat Pack or the 2010 Rat Pack or whatever. Mm-hmm. Those guys all kind of, geeky, white, brown-haired guy. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of them.
Also, side note, not that people don't already know this, but Adam Driver and Topher Grace were in The Black Klansman. Did you ever see that movie?
Oh, that was the one about the black cop who played a white Klansman over the phone.
Yeah, and I love that movie. I think that movie's hilarious. I thought it was so great, and so they were both in that movie, and I could see them in.
Oh yeah, so pairing them
roles.
up again. Yeah. That's the thing with directors. If you find somebody who works really well together, you want to use them again.
And also, I feel like in this movie, their roles would be closer to each other. They would be working with each other in a different way than they worked together in the Black Klansman, because in that movie Adam Driver was the cop who was one of the cops, I think, who was calling into into Topher Grace. And
Topher Grace was the David Duke.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
100%. But anyway, side note.
Subordinate 2, I said Peyton List. Do you know her?
I think I might, yeah.
So her portrayal of Emma Ross in the Disney sitcom Jessie, which of course I haven't seen. After the success of that show, I put a biography of her in my notes just because I didn't. I thought that visually she would fit, but I'm not super familiar with her work.
What was her last name, please?
List.
Oh,
Peyton List.
Mm-hmm.
After the success of Jessie, she was chosen to play the same role Emma Ross in Bunked. Known for being the queen of comedy on the Disney Channel, says that she enjoys ice skating, dancing, yada, yada, yada. No, she's a Disney kid, but so was your other guy from The Notebook. What's his name?
Oh, Ryan Gosling.
Yeah. So I look at her and I read Disney. I think she's an actress on the rise.
Hmm.
Who'd you have?
I had our criminal Emily. Well, her name's not Emily, but Aubrey Plaza.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You know what? That one's even better. Your ensemble is way more higher profile than mine. This would be a way more expensive movie if you were running the show. She'd do well at that because
I just thought she was so good in Emily the Criminal as that role again. Like, to see actors and actresses play different roles than you usually see them play, it's just very interesting, and she did very well in this.
Yeah, I can't tell from this if it would be more of a comedy or more of a, it would be a little. I could see it being like an Ocean's movie.
Yeah, that's really funny. I looked up Ocean's while I was casting this.
Or I could see it being like a darker version of Knives Out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it could go. It's so many ways, I feel like.
Okay, Dad, who'd you have for the family?
I had Bradley Cooper.
God, man. Guess who I had? Come on, guess.
I don't know who you had.
Guess.
There's so many people. How am I going to guess?
Make a guess.
Can I get a hint, please?
He's good looking.
That's really helpful.
I mean, who's one of your alternates?
Who's one of my alternates?
Yeah, your alternates.
In my personal life?
Yeah.
You didn't pick Leonardo DiCaprio, did you?
No, he'd be way too... No,
he wouldn't work. I was just checking.
No, Mark Ruffalo.
Oh, good role for a dad.
Yeah.
Or good actor for a dad.
Yeah. What about for Mom?
So, since I went with Bradley Cooper for the dad, I went with Jennifer Lawrence for the wife.
Of course you did. Come on. I'm gonna shoot you down with that one.
Okay, we'll go.
That's like
shoot.
Okay. Laura Frazier.
I don't know who that is.
She played Lydia in Breaking Bad, which I know you never saw.
Nope.
After the show ended in 2013, she'd taken other roles such as being the lead actress in The Pact and Traces. Besides being a talented actress, she looks pretty young, like she's in her mid-40s. Yeah, but she was you'd have to see Breaking Bad to know who Lydia was. She was a supplier of methylamine, which it's one of the chemical components to make meth, apparently. I wanted somebody to be a little not. I didn't want it like A-lister all the way down.
Right. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I looked at that too, but A-listers kept coming into my.
You love A-listers.
My brain. I do love A-listers. I'm one of those people who, if they're in the movie, I go to the movie because they're in the movie.
I like people who are up and coming but haven't gotten a break yet. Who you're like, oh wait a minute, I know that guy.
I like those people too. I just don't cast them a lot. Sorry.
What about the son?
Oh, so I think I'm gonna go with 2 daughters, maybe 3.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. We can rifle these. Who's your pick for those 3 people?
So my 3 picks for
the kids.
Yeah, thank you. Brie Larson is 1.
Brie Larson. Wasn't she in porn? Oh, Brie Larson's the...
She's in a Marvel movie. That's where a lot of people know her
Brie.
from.
Sorry.
She's really great. She's a great actress. She was in a lot of other good movies before that, though.
Yeah. I remember who she is. Who's the other one?
Olivia Cooke. I don't know. She is or was up and coming, and I can't think of the movies that I've seen her in, and I didn't write them down.
The listeners are loving this.
I know, it's riveting. But she...
Do I have to pick up the ball and help you out here? Olivia Cooke?
Mm-hmm.
Keep talking. She what?
She would just be good. I think she would be good in the role of a daughter, and I think she would be good as the role of someone who's playing a criminal or getting conned.
Oh, she was in Ready Player One.
Okay, sure.
Me and Earl and the Dying Girl, Thoroughbreds, Sound of Metal.
Oh yeah, Me and Earl and the Dying Girl.
Okay. And then
that was up and coming from Sundance one year. If I went with 3 ladies, I have a lot of names for the 3, but I'd probably go with Letitia White, right? And she was the daughter in Black Panther.
Oh, okay. I did not see Black Panther.
And I think that especially Brie and Letitia, no offense to Olivia, I'm not really sure, but, no, Olivia too, but they would be very, smart.
What's
and
her name?
Funny. Leti. Did it come up yet?
Oh, yeah. So what is she going to be, the adopted component?
She can be, yeah.
Okay,
sure.
all right.
It would be some combination. It would either be those 3 girls or 2 of them. But I just think that they would play well. Well, I would hope that they could be a good group of sisters.
Okay.
It wouldn't be fake. It would be very smart. They wouldn't be, not fake. It would be very serious to them. They would be really smart about it, but they could also bring
they're not really
a comedic.
Are they?
Not really.
That's
but
the thing.
They can be funny in a, I don't know, what do you say? In a, in
a stressful situation?
Yeah, sure. Mm-hmm.
I went with a son and daughter duo. Son of, I don't know how you say his first name, Dekra?
Mm-hmm.
Dekra Montgomery.
I don't know who that is.
Played Billy Hargrove in Stranger Things Season 3. Which I'm sure you haven't seen.
No, I would not watch that. What?
Dacre Montgomery.
How do you spell it? DAC?
RE.
Mm-hmm.
Space Montgomery.
Oh, got it. Okay. Oh, he's Australian.
I'm sure he can play a Yankee.
I'm sure he can, too.
Do you recognize him?
I need some pictures. Hold on, sorry.
Unbelievable.
I know. If she would just learn how to use her computer. Nope, I don't recognize him at all. I've never seen this person in my life.
Okay.
He's kind of pretty looking.
Yeah, he's pretty.
Very...
They can make him ugly, I'm sure. If they need it, he can be the... I haven't read the script, so I don't know if he's a...
I'm not, I'm not in love. He's a pretty looking... He looks pretty. Okay.
Then for the daughter, Anya Taylor-Joy. Are you okay? Come on, speak. Why do you this is a podcast. Have a reaction.
I forget that they're not watching. Because
just so you know, people,
I thought about her.
This girl, she gasped, threw her head back, and was like, "Oh my god, that's wonderful!" Give me your reaction here.
My reaction is that I was looking at Anya Taylor-Joy for some role too. But I don't know what it was. But that's just really funny. I just can't believe it. It was like your Dev Patel the other day.
Dev Patel.
What did you pick him for?
I don't remember.
Some movie thing.
Way to narrow it down.
You're welcome.
She was in...
But anyway, that just cracks me up. Oh my gosh.
First gained international fame with her role in period horror film The Witch. She's trained in ballet dancing and began her career as a model, and she started when she was just 16. So way to go, Anya. But yeah, that's the scoop for this month. Sorry it's taken us a while to put out another episode, but look, we've got commitments, and we never promised this was going to be a weekly thing. So
we didn't. That's a good thing we didn't do that, because there's no way
I can fit this in once a week. But it's my pick for the next movie.
It is your pick for the next movie, which means that it's my pick for the Blacklist.
All right. Well, hope you enjoyed this one. We're going to be working on it, and we'll get back to you going forward. Get on Netflix, watch some movies. Talk to you. See you.
Bye.
I was going to say, you don't want to say goodbye to the people?
I do want to say goodbye to the people. I was going to say, in addition to your get on Netflix and, do some Netflix and chilling. It's very good.
All right.
For one's being.
All right. I got to go to bed.